Had a few meetings and applied for permission to put the plaque up last year, and it's taken quite a while, but we have the full permission of the building owners and Westminster Council. Yes. So yeah, all the paperwork was done with the help of a great chap called
the fifth Beatle.
The fifth Beatle, called Tom Croft.
Tom Croft, great architect.
An architect who helped us dot the I's and underline everything. So without him, it would have been a bit tricky, but can't imagine how hard it is to get these things actually erected when it's a listed building, which this is. Hello! Yeah, plenty of parking space behind me. So, okay. Well, what? David, did you want to say something?
No, just great after 50 years of the Beatles last playing live on top of this building, that we finally got some recognition for them. And also, I guess on behalf of all of us, a big thank you to them for everything they've given us.
So we're going to find out who the people here who were there on the day are, thanks to Richard Porter, who runs the London Beatle Walks, as you might know. He's here almost every single day showing people around. Come on, Richard.
Hello everyone, and thanks for coming out today. As David said, I come down to this building about 3 or 4 times a week on tours, so I'm quite regular here. And God knows how many times I've been asked about a plaque, putting up a plaque here. I wish I had £1 for every time I was asked. I'd be a millionaire by now. And finally, thanks to my friends here, we finally got the plaque up, so hooray. Not asked that question anymore. So anyway, it's been a turnout. Thanks all for coming today. And not to, there's quite a few people here who were around all those years ago. George Harrison, thank you for that comment. And we've got the original Apple Scruffs, of course. Thank you for coming today. Over here. We're always on the steps here, morning and in the night, and George wrote that brilliant song about them. And I especially like to say thank you for Kerring Harrington, who was the Beatles roadie. And he was the guy holding up the lyrics for John Lennon on the song Dig a Pony. So you've got the redhead? Yes, and he helped set up the equipment and stuff on the roof that day. So it's great that you're here, thank you very much. We also have Barry Miles, who of course is at the back there. Miles just wrote the brilliant book Paul McCartney many years from now, and was head of Zapple. Of course, the record label on Apple is Apple. A is for Apple, Z is for Zapple. And we also have some people who were on the roof. We have on the cameraman. We have Paul Pond, who was on the cameraman. There's Paul. There he is. So thank you for coming today. Steve Lovering, who was around that day, and he was having lunch at the Royal Academy across the road, and came across to listen to what was the row that's going on the rooftop here. So thanks for coming today. And Sydney Ruback, who was he was an accountant nearby, and looked out of his office window and saw them getting around. And of course, Tony Burrell, who wrote the brilliant book, The Roof. And we had a few, a lot of people know about, well, John Mears, of course, John, over the road there. He was Apple driver. And later for Keith Moon as well. That would have been interesting. I want to talk to you later about it. And we also Dave Harris. Yes, he was one of the EMI engineers. He came along with some of the equipment and almost got arrested beforehand on the way with carrying the equipment, and got pulled over by the police because they thought he was a burglar going to do a job somewhere. If he got pulled over and arrested, the cops wouldn't have taken place at all. So luckily they the EMI car, so that was lucky, wasn't it? And we've let a few other people know who are very much involved in it that day. We've had apologies, unfortunately a lot of them in America at the moment. Ken Mansfield, who's the head of Apple in America. He is one of the people on the roof. And Chris O'Dell, and they were both sitting with Maureen Starkey and Yoko Ono, on the side of the roof. And they said sorry they couldn't make it today. Ken Ward, the original policeman, he's sent his apologies. And we've had from Tony Bramwell from Apple.
Yeah.
You know Tony, let's see, I'm sure. Yeah, he's on the Beatles at the Beach thing at the moment. And Kathy Hawkes, who's the PA for Jeff Jones at Apple, sent her apologies. She's in America as well. But anyway, they're all supporting our plaque. So anyway, it's great to see you all today. And guess we'll have a bit more music and yes. Oh, yes. Kevin, do you want to say a few?
Go on, Kevin.
Come on, Kevin.
Come on, son.
Thank you.
Hello. Not used to this one. 50 years or so ago, it was the Beatles' last gig ever. For me, it was the first of 16 years of travelling, and for that, I will always be indebted to them, and they will always be in my heart. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much, Kevin. And Dave, did you want to say anything? Come on, Dave Harris. XCMI. Abbey Road to the roof. Come on.
Hello, Beatles fans. I worked at Abbey Road for many years, and we used to go around and record various people in various places. And one of the gigs that came up was this Let It Be album, although in those days it was going to be called Get Back album. And the Beatles were filming all of the sessions. We started off in Twickenham Film Studios for the rehearsals. And then we came here because the Beatles had built a studio in the basement of this building with their engineer called Magic Alex. But the equipment didn't really suit their type of recording at the time, so we had to import all our gear from Abbey Road, which we used to use on mobile sessions all over the place. So we brought this gear in here and we set up downstairs, and they did a lot of filming, and I do remember various people. Yoko was there with the Beatles, and of course Paul's wife Linda, she came, that was her introduction to the Beatles when she came here. We recorded and they filmed an awful lot, as your Mr. Cameraman over there, I must say hello to him. Filmed everything, and a lot of it obviously went on the cutting room floor, so I don't know. And they've never released the Let It Be film. It's never been released since it initially showed. It's never come out on DVD or anything like that, which I don't really understand. I think, is it?
A few months' time, then re-edit.
Oh, it's going to be re-edited and come out in a few months' time, so there you are. That's sort of up-to-date news, you know. Anyway, so we came here and then we were working away, and then they started talking about, oh, well, we've got to do a concert. Although they were a bit bitchy amongst themselves, they weren't really getting on that well, to be honest. And anyway, they decided to do a concert. We were going to do it various places. We were going to do it abroad in an amphitheatre somewhere, and then we were going to go to some desert island where there wouldn't be anybody. So I started organising and getting bits of things like standby generators and things organised, but that didn't come off. And then suddenly one day they said, oh, we'll do it on the roof. So we'll do a concert on the roof, that'll be all right, won't it, lads? And we said, oh yes, that's fine. And there was me down there, there was a chap called Keith Slaughter, who was another EMI engineer, there was Glyn Johns, who was the Rolling Stones engineer, there was George, and there was Alan Parsons, who was his first job as a tape op, so he got lumbered down here with us lot. And we worked away, and then suddenly they said, oh, we want to do a concert on the roof. We had about 2 days' notice, but we managed to rig it all up. And then it was going to be on the 29th, on the day before, but it rained. So we said, well, we won't do it. We'll do it tomorrow. So they did it on that day on the lunchtime, and that was the morning where we had to get all the gear in and get up there. There was scaffolding on the roof and all planked out. And they just got up there at 1 o'clock and did 45 minutes set up there. And that was it really. And the police came, and this chap Ken Wall, he was one of the coppers. He was on point duty down at Piccadilly Circus, and he saw the police light, the police call box light was flashing. That's still there actually, that call box. And he answered it, and his sergeant said, "Here boy, can you hear that noise?" And he saw all these people coming up this way. He said, "Yes." He said, "Well, go and stop it then." So he thought, right. So he came up here and came in, knocked on the door of the building, and said, "Oh." And nobody would let him in, obviously, and they were playing away. And then he said, "Well, if you don't let us in, we'll arrest everybody in the building." And George went white at that point, because they only had to come down the police station down the road there. So anyway, they did come in, and as soon as they got upstairs and they saw who it was, they didn't like to say anything, they just watched for a bit. And then the sergeant came up and said, "Blimey, it's the Beatles, let's go lads, leave them to it." So they left them to it, and they carried on and finished it. And that was really the story of the day, and it was jolly cold as well up there, I can tell you that. But John's fingers were absolutely like ice. He was trying to play his guitar. Anyway, that was the day, and nice to see you all.
Thank you, Dave. Good old pal. There's one person we haven't mentioned yet, who really a very integral part of the whole proceedings, and by coincidence it's exactly 50 years today, this week, since Get Back went to #1. And who was the 5th Beatle? Billy Preston. Let's hear it for Billy Preston, one of the great musicians, sadly no longer with us, but friends of the Beatles right since the Hamburg days. And we last saw him at George's concert, farewell to George at the Albert Hall. And what a great musician. So let's hear it one more time for Billy Preston. So, something I forgot to mention, I've got a bag over there, and they're full of these postcards of the plaque. Free for everybody here. So we'll be giving them out. There you go. Yeah. So come on, yeah. I've got plenty there, so come and take them, and then we'll probably have a drink afterwards somewhere. Thank you so much for coming, everybody, and let's hear it for the Beatles again. Thank you, guys. On with the show.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all.
Thank you.
I remember the name, I can't recognise it now.